Hey everybody, this is Angela R. Sasser, fantasy artist, illustrator, and creative writer, and welcome to my May 2025 studio hangout. Usually this is a live event, but I opted for an offline event this time just because I've had a heck of a month and I just could not handle a live stream right now. I basically had one of the roughest months I've had in a long time. And just to get that part out of the way, kind of not been around much because for the past few weeks, my husband's been having some major medical problems that required me to be there for him as a caregiver. He didn't have a lot of mobility and he really needed the extra help. And my husband, Kevin, is my heart. He's always there to cheer me on. He's my biggest fan of my art, and he works his butt off. So this month I've been focusing on family. There hasn't been a lot of art, but I still wanted to come up and say hi to you guys and let you know what's going on. I have actually written a blog post called "Hello Hospital, My Old Friend," because we always joke that Kevin is like a cat with 9 lives. I think this will be like the 5th time he's almost died. This dark humor keeps us going, you guys. But yeah, so he's on the mend now too. That makes it a little easier to talk about. He's doing much better now. He's on the road to recovery, and hopefully we'll be able to have a bright future. But we're still, we're getting through that right now. We're going through that right now, talking to doctors and whatnot. So as far as studio hangout things go, there wasn't a lot of art done in May. There's only one piece of art, and let me switch screens so I can show it to you guys. I actually probably wouldn't have done any art if the Forge of Wonders Exalted Fan Artists crew didn't pull me out of art block. So let me switch to screen share. So this is the entry for the character of the week or the character of the month event that we do over at the Forge of Wonders. And the featured character this month was Detective Claude from Dr. Zaius, who belongs to Dr. Zaius. And he's a bit of a brilliant bumbling detective. Think like the Pink Panther type of detective. And he's not my usual kind of character, so it was really, really good to get out of my comfort zone. Here you can see the really goofy pose I did at the start before I kind of got him in this cool pose. So thanks, Dr. Zaius. You got me out of my art block funk, and I didn't really have much time for other art. But the art I did make got to be epic and push my comfort zone, so thanks for that. So, yeah, that's all I have to show off this month, you guys. Like I said, focused on family, which is important to me. And let's see, other updates for you. I'm going to switch back to my face. We'll just go right to the AMA section, actually. Back to my face cam. So, still wanted to do the AMA because that's always a lot of fun. Oh yeah, other cool things you guys should definitely check out. Before everything went down with ER visits and whatnot, Kevin and I did actually sit together and stream Clair Obscur, which I've been excited to play that for so long. Like, as soon as I heard it was about a giant paintress in the sky who was ruining everybody's stuff, I knew I had to play it. Like, what game do you see where there's a giant villain painting people out of existence? So I'm so happy to see that small gaming studio has done so well for themselves and this game has really taken off, because I've been ranting and raving about it in every Discord I'm in, and to anyone who will listen to me, like, y'all have to play Clair Obscur Expedition 33. It's so crazy. So That's over at my YouTube channel, and I'll put a link to that, but it's youtube.com/@AngelaSasserArt. It's also on my overlay here on the bottom, I think. But anyways, go check that out. We had a lot of fun, and like the music is so epic. It's a beautiful soundtrack, so even if you don't like the game and the story, it's worth playing just for the music alone. So that's the only other thing we really got around to in May. So next is the Ask Me Anything segment, and we had a couple of patron questions. The first one being from Lindwin, who asks, how did you identify your audience? And that's a very good question, and that's something I think once you move from being, just doing art for fun to trying to figure out how you're going to market your art, that you've got to sit down and really use your imagination about that. It's called a customer avatar, and I've learned that from the various marketing classes I've attended. You basically have to think of this customer avatar and think of what kind of person they are. How old are they? What are they interested in? What income do they make? Because if you know that your art appeals more to a younger audience that doesn't have income, then you have to sort of consider that when you're thinking about identifying your audience. Because then you're kind of targeting those younger folks, but then you're also targeting their parents. Another example is like just taking my art, for instance, some of the Art Nouveau Birthstone Goddesses stuff I've done. I sat and thought, well, where have I seen similar illustrations to mine? I've seen it in bookshops. I've seen it mainly in New Age shops, people who like crystals, people who like plants, since it's a lot of flower imagery. You just have to kind of sit and really imagine that person who loves your stuff. And also think of what you like. Sometimes there's overlap there. So, and also it helped me to kind of run ads on Facebook and sort of see what demographics I was pulling in with those ads. And that actually showed me that a lot of my fans of my Art Nouveau work, my fine art stuff, are actually female and older. They're in their 50s, 60s. So running ads now and again can help you figure out what you would like to define as your audience. So definitely try that. Oh, and one other thing I like to do is go to bookstores, and especially as an illustrator, I would go into bookstores and just go up and down the aisles and see, well, what kind of art looks like my art, right? Like, is it the young adult fantasy books? Is it the regular fantasy books? Is it graphic novels? What kind of style could I actually find for myself, or what kind of market could I find based on the styles that I see that are popular that look like my art? So definitely go to your local bookstores and see where you might fit in, because it might give you some ideas. Like take a notepad or write notes on your phone to what companies and publishers are publishing the books that would hire people who do art like you. So that is that research you can do to find your audience as well. And the next question is from Jim D, aka Overlord Jim of Apotheosis Adventures, who asks, what would you need to know to do the best possible job of capturing on the page what the client sees in their mind's eye? What questions would you ask about the character, their backstory, their physical description, and their personality to make it come alive on the page as you create it? What would the ideal character reference sheet look like to you? And this is such a great question, because I've dealt with this a lot as an artist, working with people who are more writers than artists, or people who just want, are playing in a tabletop game and they are not sure how to describe their character. And I think order of priority here, answer. The top thing is if you have an artist rendition already, to show that art to the next artist who's drawing the character, because how other artists have handled your character is a very specific thing that can be drawn upon to draw your character. If you don't have visual references, then you can give detailed written references, but it can't be like I have a character with short brown hair, because short brown hair could be like a bob. It could be, you know, an undercut hairdo. There's so many variations when it comes to descriptions. So I would need more specific details, such as a feathered fringe that goes across their left eye, or how their body language is when they talk, or are they confident or are they shy? Because a shy character, for example, wouldn't be standing straight and feet apart like this. They would be kind of, you know, away or scrunched or hunched. So the more you can tell about a character's personality, the better. And for me, anyways, this may vary per artist. I love as much detail as you can give me about personality, backstory, different signature items that you would identify with that character. I love details, especially if they're visual. So just overwhelm me with detail. I love hearing that all, so I can visualize better. And even if you draw a reference yourself and you're not good at art, I still love seeing how you bring your specific interpretation and the specific facts and details about the character into to life, because I can translate from your drawing. Even if you're not good at art, I can translate that into something better than I can like a stick figure, or even just words that are not descriptive enough. So try to draw your character, or try to draw your references. Get visuals whenever you can. I personally, as an artist, love visuals. Whew. I could go on and on about that question. That's a really fun question. The next question is also from Jim D, aka Overlord Jim of Apotheosis Adventures, who asks, describe your ideal art buying customer. How should they approach you to commission your work? What will they know coming into the purchasing process? What sort of information should they have ready for you? How should they prepare their design pitch? What is the most important thing they should know to make them a happy client and you a happy artist? I think the abbreviated version of this question is, how do you approach an artist with a commission request? And that's a very layered topic, so I'm just gonna give like the short answer, and then you can do some research. Like, I can post some resources online later. And my answer to this is BTPC: budget, timeline, project brief, and copyrights. And what that means is you should know how much money you have set aside for your project. You shouldn't be guessing on that when you come to an artist. You should know the timeline, because an artist needs to know, will they need to rush if they're trying to include you in their queue when they have other projects happening. Your project brief should have examples of the kind of art you're wanting, or at least a description of your exact needs. And the copyrights should be defined, such as, do you need exclusivity? Can it be non-exclusive? What kinds of uses do you have in mind? Should it be used for advertising? Does the art need to be malleable so you can change the format of it? Those are the very, very basic things that you need when you're coming to an artist with a commissioned inquiry. So BTPC: budget, timeline, project brief, and copyrights. And I feel like the more examples that your project has of your expectations, the better. Like, if you have a design brief that has a visual project document bible with specific examples of the kind of art you need, that's really useful. Like, to give an example, one of the best design briefs I've seen lately was for a card game. And they had like a PDF with all of their cards, the different types of cards, and the different types of artists they would need to draw the different cards. They had like placeholder art that was very simplified, but it did get across how detailed a composition needed to be for different types of cards. And had nameplates and style, the style they were aiming for, like Art Nouveau or that kind of thing. And I'd say also know in advance what kind of compromises you can make as a project manager. If someone wants more money than you can offer, what can you offer them to sort of make up for that gulf in your needs? Can you offer royalties? Can you also prove that in offering royalties that those royalties be worth it because you have a plan to advertise your project in a variety of ways? Because offering royalties for something you don't think will get any sales and views isn't very persuasive, but if you can say, hi, I have a project where I plan to advertise on YouTube and Facebook and this, and I'm passionate about my project and we'll get it on this, and this platform, then you can kind of have more negotiating leverage there when you're talking to an artist, that to maybe take a lower commission fee in exchange for being able to get royalties. But that's also like, is not the standard, I'd say, but it's something you could consider if you're working with a lower budget. And I'd say the biggest sin, honestly, is wanting the moon for a dime and devaluing art by not being respectful to artists when they ask for a higher price than you expect. Be courteous when you're negotiating. Never expect that artists should work for the passion because they love art so much. Like, yes, artists love making art. We really do. But we also need to eat food like other humans. We have bills, and no matter how much we love making art, that's not gonna, we need real monies. So don't come to artists from the attitude of they should just do it for free because they love it, because that is one way to just get yourself on the bad side of any artist you talk to. I could go on about this topic again, but I feel like that's going to have to be a whole other resource that either I can come back in future videos or write up an article or some kind of guide. I'm sure they exist. Just look up Guide to How to Commission Artists, and maybe my own version will come later. And those are the 3 big questions for AMA this month. Thanks for entering those. I appreciate you guys. As far as plans for June, I really don't know, guys. I'm focusing on family right now, and we're not quite out of the woods with my husband's treatments. We're currently waiting on a doctor to look at his MRI results, and we're hoping it's not the big C. It's not cancer. We're really hoping that it's not that again. So we've done that song and dance once before. We'll be ready for round 2 if it happens, but really just, send us any spare vibes you have that things are going to be well. We could really use them. But as far as if I do have time, I do want to finish up the Castle Servant cover that I've been working on, but I think I'm honestly going to switch it to digital. I wanted to do all this ambitious stuff of making it an acrylic painting, but I just feel like with the way things are looking right now, I'm not going to have time to do to learn a whole new medium, because acrylics are new to me. If it happens, great, but I think I'm just going to push forward with the path of least resistance and work on it digital, and perhaps I can offer digital prints that I can gild by hand with metallic accents, because it's going to be a really like painterly versus graphic elements in the piece. So yeah, my next month's going to depend on what's happening with family and what kind of level of care my husband will need. So I appreciate y'all's understanding if I do just fall off the planet again. And I'm really grateful to those of you who did send kind words of support and extra support through Patreon. That meant a lot to us while we were flipping out about this whole thing. So, and the one last story before I sign off this, for those who did contact me about commissions, I'm really sorry, because I had launched commissions which were the portraits that you saw, the D&D characters. I had launched that, and then the very next day we were in the ER, so everyone who contacted me, I'm really sorry, but I just cannot take those commission requests right now. I really got to see what our long-term life is going to be like. Not saying they're done forever and I'm never taking any, but right now I'm going to focus until we know what the doctors want to do. And then maybe I can reopen that commission launch at a later time. Because y'all sent me such cool ideas, but I can't do them just yet. My head's not in a good headspace for that. And I want to make sure that I can draw y'all's characters with good quality and passion put into them without the challenge of trying to squeeze that in while also doing other caregiving tasks. So have patience with me. Commissions will come soon, I promise. I know it's been years since I actually opened for them, and when I finally opened for them, it's like, no, I grabbed them away. So again, apologies for that. Sometimes you just cannot predict life. But I'm hoping within the next couple of months, if things go well, I can go back to them. And I'm still working on the prize winners as well. Fortunately, the couple of folks who won the free commission portrait prizes are really awesome and have been patient with me as far as letting me settle in life first before I undertake their character portraits. So anyways, I am rambling. I am tired. It is stormy here in Georgia and it looks like I'm about to get blown to Oz, so I'm gonna go and hide under the bed. Thanks for all of your extra support and for your kind words. And hopefully I'll be on a live stream returning to my playthrough of Banishers for game nights and for the next studio hangout in June. Hopefully I'll see y'all live then. For now, hope this offline version was good. Y'all take care, be in good health, hug your loved ones. Bye for now.